Welcome everyone to another Beyond Bitcoin Whaletank Hangout. Today is Friday, August 11th, 2017, and this is Hangout 219. We are joined today by multiple different projects that have RSVP'd on the Whaletank Hangout RSVP thread on the Beyond Bitcoin tag on steemit.com. So you can go there and RSVP with your project anytime during the week to show up at these hangouts and earn some rewards for doing so. Now, with that said, the people who RSVP'd this week in the order that has been established by upvote within the community and power-ups that are given in these hangouts is as followed. Number one is going to be Steam developers. It's going to be a project talking about learning to develop on the Steam platform. The next one is going to be Zertol with Project Belly Rub, a little upvote bot. Next is going to be Purity, which is a tag of itself on the BitShares, on the Steemit platform. After that is going to be Community Casino, followed by Steemit Gaming, after which will be Voice Shares, and then we will follow it up and cap it off today with Build a Whale. Now, with that said, these hangouts have a few rules that have been established, and we have a few power-ups that help you get past some of these rules to a certain degree, help you overcome the gravity that we have placed into these hangouts. Now, with that said, what I mean by this is everybody's who you have heard right there has been upvoted into an order of precedent this week by the community who follows and invests in Steam Power. If they are upvoted to the highest dollar amount, they are most likely going to be first. But you can double your chances and double your upvote in terms of the order of precedent by posting a link to your own token on the BitShares exchange that you are going to be talking about at this hangout. So if you want to power up and give yourself an extra boost above other people who might not have a token of their own, but have a little bit more in upvote power, you can overcome them by having your own BitShares-based token that is brought value by the project that you are going to bring to these hangouts. The second power-up will be that you can buy extra time from the 15-minute maximum that you start out with. You can buy up to 10 minutes extra for the community hangout by utilizing your token to share drop on the community who is attending today. There's a maximum of 10 minutes for this power-up. Now, with that said, there is one final power-up that I would like to cover, and it's a very important power-up because every week I will not only distribute what I've earned in upvotes from this RSV post in the form of Beyond Bits to the people who attend here, but I will also find and choose one every week that I believe is my favorite to give tokens to. So I will give 1,000 Beyond Bits, which is approximately $750 worth of upvotes on the Steam platform, to the project that I think is the most valuable with a token. Now, with that said, if you are somebody who believes that you were not chosen and there was a reason that maybe I chose incorrectly, and you think that you can utilize that value proposition of your token to change my mind, then you're more than welcome to contact me throughout the week You have 7 days from the date of the hangout to contact me before I decide and try to change my mind to it being your project. And with that said, we have no other power-ups, so to speak, but we have placed these into this ecosystem so we can help to foster and grow the different projects that we think are valuable in Steam and BitShares and the graphene ecosystem, and of course the greater crypto ecosystem as a whole. So I will also urge you all to remember, if you have people who are sitting on a lot of stake and Steam power in the Steam network, please consider letting those people know that we are now able to create these tokens for them as well, and they can join the Whaletank with their own value propositions and their own power-ups. And we can make this completely community-driven. It's all a stage-by-stage process, and we are on stage probably 3 out of 5. If you guys help us, we can make this completely community-driven, and we can get a lot of value created in this ecosystem. So with that said, I thank everybody for joining up. I thank all of you gladiators for being in the gladiator ring and ready to fight lions with your ideas. And we will start with the Steam Developers Project, because they are first on the list. So who is going to be representing the Steam Developers Project for us today?
Hello, I'm Mackenzie Gary. I'll be representing Steam Developers today.
Okay, Mackenzie. What is do you have a Steemit account?
Yes, my Steemit account is at Mackenzie Gary, one word, McKenziegary.
All right, man. Well, I will go ahead and I'll step back since this is your time, and I will set your time for the 15 minutes.
All right, thank you very much. So like I said, my name is Mackenzie Gary. I've been working very closely with Ron Donson to design a learn-to-earn education system that rewards students who do well on assignments. Today, I'm going to run you all through the potential user experience, an example of a 3-week curriculum, and then we'll finish up with how you can help this project. So you'll see that Ron Donson has posted a link. Please go to the link to follow with this presentation. I'll give you guys a moment to open it up and then I'll continue. So on slide 1, you can see our potential user experience. Users have 5 steps. First, they see the course material posted by Steam developers. Second, students who would like to earn will be asked to pay 100 Steam-backed dollars in tuition. Third, students will receive assignments from their educators on Discord. Fourth, completed assignments will be posted on steamdevelopers.io. Lastly, student assignments will be graded and proportionately upvoted according to their grade. You may be wondering why we're asking students to pay 100 Steam-backed dollars for tuition. This is to deter people who are not interested in learning and are only looking to take advantage of the system in order to profit. The 100 Steam-backed dollars and more are both completely recoupable. On slide 2, you'll see an example of a 3-week curriculum. In this particular curriculum, there are 8 tutorials, 7 homework assignments, and 1 final project. On the bottom of the slide, you'll note the maximum profit a student can earn, the maximum profit an educator can earn, Steam developers' bottom line, and a possible max Steam developers can make. So let's dive right in and I'll tell you how students can earn the maximum profit. Students receive weekly payouts on their grade average. Averages are based on how well they do on their assignments. On this particular calendar, weekly payouts would be on Mondays. An average of an A receives 30 Steam-backed dollars. An average of a B receives 20 Steam-backed dollars. An average of a C receives 10 Steam-backed dollars. An average of a D receives 5. An average of an F receives 0 Steam-backed dollars. Students who work hard to receive A averages can make 90 Steamback dollars over the 3 weeks on top of what they earned from upvotes on their course assignments. We believe there's a healthy amount of profit for students, so the maximum profit may be capped in the future. This is to keep learning the main motive behind using Steam developers and to mitigate the chance of an expert taking the course to exploit the system. Now let's focus on how educators can earn the most. When Steam developers post a curriculum designed by an educator, the educator receives 50% of what the post earns. Steam developers strives to provide the best quality tutorials possible, so the best tutorials have the greatest potential to earn. Educators receive 10 Steamback dollars for each student that takes their course. For the first proof of concept, we're capping the number of students at 15. This system will reward educators who look to onboard students that have a desire to learn and earn. Lastly, we'll zoom in on Steam developers' bottom line and possible maximum profit. If every student taking the course receives all A's, Steam developers' bottom line will be 50% of what the educator's curriculum post earns. If every student receives F's, Steam developers will make 90 Steamback dollars per student, as well as 50% of what the educator curriculum post earns. Our next steps are to finish developing the front end, which is currently under development by JP Henderson. We are also looking for people willing to delegate Steam power. If you're interested in what Steam developers is doing, the final slide shows you how you can help. There are 3 ways you can help right now. First, if you'd like to support Steam developers, you can delegate or donate Steam power. This is to increase possible earnings for students, as well as help with scalability. Second, Steam developers is looking to create a user-issued asset in the future, specifically designed for Steam developers. Information regarding user-issued assets would be greatly appreciated. Lastly, Steam developers is always looking for educators. If you're interested in becoming an educator and designing a 3-week course, please let us know. Thank you, and we'll now take questions.
I have questions, but I'll leave it for anybody else who has questions or comments before I do. So feel free to go ahead and speak up if you'd like to.
I see one question: what kind of courses? So right now we have a handful of educators interested in designing courses so far. It spans multiple subjects, so no subjects are set in stone, but once we have solidified the subjects being taught in the first proof of concept, we'll let everybody know.
Steam PowerPix has a question for you too. I'll go ahead and read it off for you. Do you have educators lined up yet?
Like I just said, we have a handful of educators that are interested in designing courses.
Okay, so they are going to be there, or they're just interested. Do you know if it's where they stand on it?
So we have educators that have expressed interest, but no educators have begun designing courses yet.
And Ron Donson says here, JP Anderson will also be designing a course. I believe that he will be, because I know he was very interested in this. He's actually the one, I believe, or one of the ones who brought this to us. Am I correct?
Correct.
I just want to jump in and comment really quick that I thought that was an excellent presentation. You were very concise, to the point. You addressed all major points. I just loved your presentation. It was very, very good.
Thank you very much.
I agree. If there were going to be a model every week, this would be a good one. I was smiling ear to ear. I'm glad you bring it up, Thomas, because 100% on point.
Well, thank you guys very much.
Steam PowerPix is asking here, do you have a preliminary start date?
Rondon and I haven't spoken about a specific start date, but as soon as we know, we'll let everybody know.
Well, I'll tell you what, right now, this is something that I'm very interested in. Obviously, I think the fact that you have it all laid out with flowcharts that make sense, that actually show you understand the economics of this ecosystem. I have to dig into it deeper, maybe, to see if there's any potential things that I'm not seeing on the surface, but it looks really good to me. And I'll say it looks so good that I would upvote a witness that backs a token for you guys. Or backs what you guys are paying, in upvotes, or however you plan on doing it. Because I think that if witnesses were to do things like this, with the Steam power that they earn, or at least a decent bit of it, they would be able to start really bootstrapping in the Steam ecosystem a lot. And this is a really good place to start, because if you're developing Steam or a base of people who will develop on Steam or develop with Steam and produce more value for Steam, this is a no-brainer. And you guys did such a good job of it. Wow. I really, man, I don't get many that are this on point. And who did your logo?
I believe Epic Designs did our logo.
Crypto Hippie asks, mostly online courses, or are there any offline classes?
We haven't spoken much about online versus offline, but I know we have had plans to post the first proof of concept on steamdevelopers.io.
And okay, I'm going to ask you just real quick. This is a little bit deeper question, perhaps, if you don't mind. But when you, as a creator, you get 50% of what the post makes, right? Are they
Correct.
going to be able to post the same curriculum and recycle it, or is it going to be something where it's a one-time? How do you guys foresee that working out?
The approach that we've taken a look at consistently throughout this process of designing it is to create new content. So a curriculum, we look to not post the same curriculum twice.
And what would be done with the archive material? Would it be able to be reused for people to earn from, or is it just going to be something where you kind of have to catch it at the time that it's live to be able to earn from learning? How does that work?
So there's a lot of stuff that still needs to be ironed out. So just off the top of my head, the previous course material would be on the blockchain, so you'd still be able to see it. I guess new curriculum could be considered, the same as like new additions to a textbook, I guess.
Yeah,
so,
okay, I see.
So like the core material is very similar, but some things change here and there. But we, like I said, we haven't spoken too much about this topic, but we look forward to approaching the challenge in the future.
I can tell you do. You guys have me excited. Does anybody else have any questions or comments? Because I will take up the entire spot with them. Maybe I'll summon the silence monster for 10 seconds. Steam Power Pick says, can the courses be anything, not just tech? That's a dang good question, Steam Power Picks.
So we've had educators interested in mathematics and physics, as well as computer coding languages. So subjects beyond computers and tech is definitely possible.
You know, I think of something like Khan Academy when I first learned about it, and of course at that time I was really big into psychology and gamification and stuff, and it was at the point in time when they had points where you earned points for watching videos, for doing well, not for doing quests, for doing math problems. You can see where the parallel is in my mind already, right? But when I talked to them, I reached out to them and said, you know, there's one thing that's missing. Like, what are we people going to use the points for? So later on, they got rid of the point system. And I've always thought, you know, if only we would have been able to get, if only we had cryptocurrency at the time when I talked to one of the developers on there, we could have potentially, you know, turned it into a Khan Academy kind of cryptocurrency. And I think these projects are so ridiculously valuable and people should really look at them. If you guys can get a witness running for this project, I will upvote you. I will definitely upvote you guys. I would urge you to try to go that route because Steam power is hard to give out, except for maybe, you know, leasing it and selling it, which a lot of people don't like because it can get abused. But you have stuff like this is the best way, in my opinion, to, if you guys can benefit and make the ecosystem stronger and educate everybody in the ecosystem in the places where they want to be educated, match up the educators with the educated and create that archive in addition to all of this, man, I don't know how much money would be too much.
I want to jump in with one other comment about this, and that is Khan Academy was a great thing when it started, but I believe it was co-opted by Bill Gates and his foundation. Yes. So, you know, this is a very powerful tool when it comes to education that can be gamified, and when you gamify things, that can be misused to lead people in directions you don't want them to go. Now, I'm not saying that so much on the technical side, but for other types of courses where you're steering people's psychology, it can be very dangerous. Yes. So that's what happened with Khan Academy. So I will caution you to keep that in mind as you design and go forward with your program, because I think it's a really great idea.
Thank you very much. I kind of want to address that part. You know, we had spoken about, you know, a healthy amount of profit for students in order to, you know, make sure the main focus of students who use Steam developers is to learn. And so we don't want people to, we don't want students to approach Steam developers thinking about profit. We'd like profit to be a result of wanting to learn.
Well, I think that's a perfect place to end it because we're about 30 seconds over your 15-minute allotment of time. You do not have tokens currently, is that correct?
Nope.
Okay, so I will say that is one of the few rules that we are starting to implement, a few rules. We are still very intent on remaining open, but I do want to let you know, if you would like to let everybody know how to contact you if they would like to participate in this in any way, shape, or form, this would be the best time to do so, and I'll step back.
Okay. So in order to reach us, you can contact me or Ron Donson on Discord. You can type in Mackenzie Gary on Discord or Ron Donson on Discord. There's also a Steam Developers Discord link that I'll post in this chat.
Well, thank you for the wonderful presentation. I think that's going to be that's got to be one of the best presentations we've had in all of our Hangouts. So thank you for it.
Well, thank you very much for having us.
I look forward to this project. I will not lie. Now, with that said, we do have another tool. Are you here on the list? And that Zertol is not here, so you will be unvoted, and I will make sure to flag it to 0, not in any anger or animosity to you, but I will say that the people who join up here receive rewards. Those who post about them and they do not receive rewards, and they do not receive coverage. So I appreciate everybody who understands that. Those who join these will be gaining significant amounts of resources to build value. So I urge you to all consider that and leverage it and take your own project seriously. With that said, we'll go ahead and we'll move on to the next one, which is going to be Purity.io, which is, I believe, going to be Forrest Willie today, aka Crypto Hippie.
That is correct. How's everybody doing?
We're wanting to hear some more updates after the last week that you gave us some pretty good stuff with the Purity project, right?
Correct. So last week, I guess I'll start with that. But last week we were talking about implementing and creating our own smart contracting language that was simple for people to understand. And, you know, you didn't have to be some code wizard to understand it. You could get on and basically read the contract, and it would make sense to you. So we've hired somebody as a trial period for that, and, you know, pass the test, then we will have him on full time working on that. So that's exciting news on the dev end. As far as the other things that I wanted to talk about tonight, or today, this morning for you guys in America, we have the bounty campaign, which is up, and this is in Bitcoin talk forums. We have Twitter bounty is up right now. So you can, if you have a certain amount of followers, earn stakes by getting on and tweeting out stuff about our project and retweeting stuff about our project. And based on the amount of followers you have, that will dictate what your reward is. We also have translation bounties. Those are going on. Those have been going on for a minute, and we've got quite a few of them up already. But if you guys have a second language, feel free to jump on Bitcoin Talk and try to reserve a spot for the bounty campaign. We also have a article bounty too. So if you get us articles in certain publications or want to write about us on Steam, then we can reward you for that. So the other thing that I wanted to talk about was that we have we had another bounty going on in our Discord, and this was just a logo contest. You know, so we kind of saw the success from the Whale Shares logo contest, and we wanted to see what we could get out of the community and see what they could get too. So we're rewarding them in Beyond Bits. I wanted to announce the winners tonight. So first place was BitRocker 2020, and he'll be winning 60 Beyond Bit. Second place was at Meggie, Megii, and he, she, or them or they will receive 30 Beyond Bit. And then for third place, we had a tie between Bron King and Rachel Berger. And so we'll be giving them each 15 Beyond Bit. So that was pretty much what my update for this week. We're moving forward with Purity, and we should have our full ICO details up within the next, I'd say the next 4 to 7 days. We've been really busy, so we'll see when that comes, but definitely by next week we'll have that out. And yeah, I just want to invite everybody to come and check us out. You can do that at purity.io. You can do that in our Discord. Our whole team is in our Discord. And you know, if you have any questions, one of us is there to answer it basically all the time. So that was pretty much what I had to say today. And if anybody has any questions, I'd like to open that up.
I just will say that real quick, if you don't mind.
Don't mind.
By Compound Films made another good one, and this bit rocker, if everybody hasn't seen it, is like a GIF of the logo with lightning and like pulsations coming out of it. It's pretty epic. It's pretty dang epic. It's amazing that you got such quality. You know, like it's consistently stunning how much quality you get from opening up quests and competitions for your community to do things, you know?
Yeah, it's very true. That was one of my favorites, but one of the things about this little contest that we did was I didn't want to skew the contest with my votes, because we wanted to really let the community decide who the winner was, so that we posted them, and each entry got a comment, and whatever comment got upvoted the most, BitRockers got upvoted the most, so he won. But yeah, all the entries were cool, and I think our next Discord game that we're gonna play like that is our little contest that we're gonna hold is going to be like a Fanimation video, or like video contest. Also, we are doing our Purity Discord hangout every Sunday now, so I will post the time here when I'm done talking, but because I'm not exactly sure what that is yet. But yeah, Sir Lunch the host is going to co-host it with me, and
Awesome.
come on out, and you guys are more than welcome to join in, answer and ask questions, and participate in our community as much as you can, because all these different communities that are coming up like us, there's really a chance to earn some tokens and, you know, possibly better your life, and I hope that you do. So yeah, any questions, comments?
So real quick, you have a bounty ICO thread, right? And you guys are actually giving out for translations, like you said, just to really quickly.
Yep, we're giving out. We're giving out our token, so it's actually the BitShares UIA that we created, and if anybody, speaking of the BitShares UIA, if anybody wants to participate in a pre-ICO that's still taking place, because we have not sold out yet, but we are getting towards the end of it. It's really the best deal you're going to find on these tokens, until, you know, they go out on the market, and then we don't know what the price is going to be. But in the ICO, they'll start at 5 cents more than what we're charging right now, and that's specifically for the Beyond Bitcoin community. So I really invite you guys to take advantage of that.
And I believe, just a reminder that the people who are here, you have an actual deal in this ICO where whenever you buy the top tier, you actually get a validator as well, correct? Which is a perpetual stream of these tokens.
Correct. Yep. And there's 3 tiers. One of them, so the first tier is you get 10,000 tokens for $1,500. Second tier is 50,000 tokens for $7,000. And the one with the validator and also a ticket to the Blockchains Forum in Barcelona in October.
That's a nice little added benefit.
Yeah, did I not mention that one? Yeah, we have entry tickets, so its flights will be on you, but we have a bunch of entry tickets and we're trying to get people to come out, and so yeah. That one's by far the best option because, like Fuzzy said, it's a perpetual token maker.
And service provider. We must talk about that, right?
That too. Yeah. So that's still running. If anybody wants to participate in that, please email me at forest@purity.io. And if you have any other questions that you didn't get a chance to ask today, feel free to email me there, and I would love to answer them for you.
Does anybody have any questions or comments that they would like to bring up? Because as always, I will remind all of you, I have plenty to say right now. But you guys are all people who are learning about cryptocurrencies, and you might have questions about these things. Okay, I'll tell you by Compound Films. Thank you for saying let's hear it fuzz. Forrest, I'm going to announce right here, right now, my wife is a Filipina. She speaks Tagalog, and she speaks Hebrew. She speaks like 5 languages. But she speaks those 2 that are primary languages. And she has volunteered, if you need either of them, to translate them for Purity tokens. This is a big milestone for me personally, that you guys all get to see this, because there still are times when my wife says stuff like, I'm married to cryptocurrency. And that's partially true, but I always try to explain to her that it is cryptocurrency that is going to make our lives better, and us working in the industry and having influence that we can wield to change things for the better. That's going to make things very good for us in the future if we're smart, right? And she's starting, I think, to realize some of this stuff. So this will be her first token that she's earned. So that's a big milestone. Just wanted to let you know that it's happening on your chain.
Well, yeah, congratulations to her and you and us. We're glad to have her. We would love some translations. So, I'm not positive what languages are left, but I think that we can find at least 1 or 2 for her.
Well, I just figure that between the 2, you're probably pretty good. There's probably one of them that you guys need. But she will contact you regardless.
Sounds great. I'd love to hear from her. Yeah, and Mr. Wang, well, I'll be here for the after party. Anything else? Anybody?
Well, I'll really quickly go over these bounties. The reserved amount for the ones that he was talking about with relation to the articles is that they have 250,000 of them set aside. They have to be 600 words or more, and then another 300,000 purity tokens are available for the translation bounties. So that's a lot of stake that is available. You guys are going to start out selling these at how much?
They're available right now for 15 cents is the tier 1 package. And that goes down to 13.5 cents if you go with the tier 3, and that's the package with the validator.
And how much are they going to start out with on whenever you guys start the main show?
ICO price will be 20 cents for the first week, and then second week it will go up to 22 cents if we sell out the first week, and third week 24 cents, fourth week 26 cents. So it's the best deal you're gonna find right now is contacting us and getting some tokens.
And you can always get free ones. So if you do not want to buy them yourself, use your Twitter account or do some of the bounties that they have available. And how do they reach out to you one final time before we let this one go?
You can check out our Discord channel. We'll post a link here in a second. You can also email me at forest@purity.io. And yeah, our Steemit handle is purity-io, and our token is called Peer Crowdfund. So that's on the BitShares Dex, so you guys can find it there, or you can get it through us. I suggest getting it through us.
Well, I will say that I appreciate everything that you guys have done, and especially with offering them to our community first at a discount. It's always something that you guys will be appreciated for helping to distribute some of these tokens into the hands of people who care about these projects. I will say thank you to everybody who does this. Is Community Casino, and that is Bathila. If I said that correctly, if I didn't, please let me know. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to step back if you are ready and let you give your presentation and give you your 15 minutes.
Good morning, Fuzzy. Can you guys hear me?
Perfectly.
Awesome. I'm new to this, so thanks.
Uh-oh. Your push to talk button might be,
How about now?
Perfect.
All right, sweet. I'm Bethalea. Beth is fine. Myself, Nick, and Chief Mapster, I think that you guys know him already, got together and realized that the three of us really had the same purpose in life. And that's to help each other and help others. We met on the poker tables at lucksax.com and realized that not only do we love poker, but like I said, we all really feel like our purpose here is to help. And so we came up with Community Casino. What we would really like to do with this is create a casino, just like any other casino, using Steemit at first and online and points later. Chief will talk about that in a bit. But to have a casino with an emphasis on community rather than on profits. We plan to begin Community Casino on Steemit, growing to online, and finally expanding to brick and mortar casinos worldwide. excuse me, our mission is a casino focused on bettering the lives of the players and the community that surrounds it. So not only will you be able to have fun, but eventually our goal is to have 50% of our community casino profits going back into the community that surrounds it. So for instance, when we do have a brick and mortar casino, one of our goals is to improve the community that physically surrounds it. We'll be starting our own private foundation that's connected to the community casino in order to facilitate giving back to the community. One of our focuses will be on the general education systems surrounding our community, so school districts, that kind of thing. Definitely homeless prevention, gambling, drug and alcohol addiction treatments. We'll also be accepting LOIs, letters of intent, from people who play at our casino. If you have a need, then we're going to want to hear it, and we're going to want to be able to help. And then finally, we're going to try to, our goal is to also work on global environmental impacts. So we've got a lot of different and big ways that we want to give back, but all surrounding this idea of being together and playing and having fun, but fun in a casino that isn't only looking to take every last dollar that you have. That's about it that I have. Chief, do you want to pop in here?
Yes. What she's talking about, I know it's kind of a bigger idea, but we're trying to become the first crypto casino. Right now, we have a bunch of games that are going live. Nick Noss just went live yesterday. That uses different like poker games, different casino games to encourage fun and learning about the casino games. So right now we're using SBD, but that's why we're also talking to you about Fuzzy, is the points. Right now it's paid in SBD, but we want to pay everybody out in a currency that's tied to whale shares of Beyond Bit, which would be points. Points would be like a cross-platform currency, so it'll be used with Steam Gaming as well, among other things. So points is really what we're here to talk to you about. I know it's more of a bigger idea, community casino, but we are kind of streamlining it right now. It's going to be offline and online, but I mean offline, the online brick and mortar probably a year or two, but the Luxx platform right now was actually built by Tuck, he's a pretty big Steam guy. It's for the Steam Poker League. So it's all built by Steamians for Steamians. So it's the perfect platform we have right now to play live poker, Raz, and a bunch of other table games. So we just need a cryptocurrency to pay out. We're using SBDs right now, but we'd rather be using something that's tied to your currency. That's why we want points, and points will be used for other things like Steam Gaming and other projects, and also used for other social media accounts like YouTubers and stuff like that to give to their followers to get them on Steam. So it's points is a bigger picture. It uses a couple of different goals to get it done, but community casino is one of those goals. As she said, a little bit nervous, Fuzzy, but we're really passionate about helping people. So the community casino is trying to turn Vegas from bad to good, because it's really a lot of negative energy right now. And if we can somehow turn it into good, we can really harness it and have a lot of real positive change. But Nick Noss, you want to talk about a little bit more about your game that's going live right now?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you guys for listening too. Thank you, Beth and Chief. Before I even go into the games, I would like to say, this was really new. We're just beginning. Yes, we have big aspirations, but we're starting from the beginning, and we're trying not to take any big risks. I'm a gambler, but I'm a safe gambler. So we're going to start from the bottom, build up our network and connections, and see what we can do. We already have some, and this is definitely the time to jump in if you guys are willing to help. We really could use it, but we're going to get there. It's just going to take some time. As far as the games are concerned, we start up poker, community casino poker, yesterday. We are in works with a couple other people trying to get a couple other games started. We even have some big projects in the work just for the Steam It side of this game's community casino. After this, the whole idea of this is to build on the network of people and the community as we go. So we're going to start with Steam It and work our way
I'm sorry, that was just a satanic demon that came in and mimicked you for a moment.
That's okay. I think he likes it, likes the idea anyway. So so the idea would be to start off with Steam It, build the following. Hopefully, eventually, once we do have a following, go to an online casino and then possibly brick and mortar. But the idea here is that we're playing it safe. We aren't just jumping into something that's not easily to start. I have a business background, plus I have some other experiences, especially in gambling and handicapping and stuff like that. We are in talks with other people who have a lot of these skills. Yes, it's really early and it's a big project, but this is the time to help. This is the time to get in because there's money to be made and we're going to do it. Do we have any questions?
Yeah, well, I definitely have one, but I'll ask beforehand. Does anyone else have any questions or comments? I think it was pretty straightforward presentation. It made sense. You're essentially going to take a large portion of what the rake is from these things and put it towards good causes, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Exactly.
And
I'll
okay.
answer real quick. This is obviously subject to change at this point, but the plan is, and the original goal, one of the first goals we had was a 50% of profits going to the community. And that's huge in the casino industry because, I mean, even the Indian reservations give a lot away, but they don't give in any percentage like that. So that's our main goal, a 50% profit back to the community straight off the top.
And will there be like a voting process for the people of the community to vote on? Like, for instance, like, let's say I lost $1,000 last night. Well, $500 of it's, or whatever amount of the rake goes into a pool, and I get these votes. In addition, like for that maybe, so at least you didn't lose your money. You just got more votes in what's going to happen, in what we're going to decide to spend our money on. Maybe potholes or a new swimming pool for the community, or to dig a water well in Africa and keep thousands of people alive.
Beth, what do you think about this?
Yeah, exactly, and that's why we like Steam It so much, because you can literally write articles. Say you just lost you lost some money, and you want to use that money you just lost for good cause. You just write a post about it, and we'll read it. One of our team will read it, and then we can just delegate that money you quote unquote lost to your cause. So you're really never quote unquote losing. You always have the option to donate your losses to the charity you want. And all you have to do that is just write a post on Steam It.
That's definitely where we're going to start anyway. I think eventually, my background is in nonprofit, so I'm looking more at a private foundation connected to the casino. So once it gets past being able to listen and read someone's individual posts, there'll be a board of directors on a foundation. We'll take, like I said, LOIs, which are letters of intent, to understand what people do want. But for now, absolutely, we'll start with what's going on with you, and we'll listen to your post and whatever it is that you need.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting, and you guys are going to have like a user interface for the gambling, and then you're going to have is it going to be like a place where you choose will you have an interface for people to kind of choose what projects they want to fund too? on the site itself?
Honestly, we haven't gotten that far yet, but yeah, that sounds exactly.
And one thing, we don't really want to redirect too much of the traffic off Steemit. You know, we really are part of the Steemit community. We'd rather have everything go to Steemit. So having Nick Noss had a casino game account started. So once we'll start using that. But we really want to keep most of the traffic, if we can, on Steemit. And the Luck Sacks is created by Steemians, and it took hours and hours and weeks. So we feel comfortable using that platform as well. So as long as it's created by Steemians, I feel like we should be putting all of our traffic there.
Oh, and I'll insert just really quickly. There are things out there that have been built already. I know because we have one that's kind of similar to it that we're building behind the scenes. What's almost done, which is kind of like you can represent the blockchain data as another interface. So you can actually keep the content on Steam, but it actually is also on your website and filtered on your website in a way that is perfect for your cause, right? So you could literally have, and this was because in the very early days of Steam, what we realized, and this idea came, we were in Beyond Bitcoin when we were talking about it from the very early days. We thought to ourselves, what if there are tags? There's all these tags, right? And there are whales who get to upvote the content, and that dictates what people see. So what if instead we enable people to filter it and kind of have their own domain name where they filter traffic to, and people don't even necessarily always know that they're using Steam if you don't want to, right? Because that causes some problems in cryptocurrencies. Some people just won't use it because it's Steam and it's a competing crypto. But yeah, there are opportunities to potentially have Steam content on your site, posted to your site, but also to the Steam chain. It's something that we can maybe talk about at another point in time in detail, though. I don't mind helping you with that if you guys are interested.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. That's amazing.
Now, thank you. I'll just ask, does anybody have any questions or comments? If not, I would just like to ask you guys one more question. We have about 30 seconds. You guys said that you would like them to be tied to whale shares or Beyond Bits or Beyond Bits in some way. Can you guys explain that at all?
That would be the currency points that I was talking about last week with Steemit Gaming, and I'll be talking about in my segment next. Okay. So I guess I can just talk more about that if that's all right with you.
Yeah, we can talk about that next segment because there's about 30 seconds left in this one. However, what I will say is I appreciate you guys joining up with this project, and if anybody wants to reach you guys, how do they go ahead and do that?
Well, for me, it's Chief Mapster, and we have set up a Discord chat, Team Epic, and Nick will put a link in the chat for you, so you can reach us at any time. Usually, they're out in LA and the Bay Area, and I'm out in Ohio, so we're usually on at all times. So it's pretty nice. So if you ever need to get a hold of us, you can get on the Discord channel.
Sounds good. And you guys provided a link below. Do you guys provide links to your Discord channel in your posts on Steemit?
Yes, we do. It's actually kind of funny. We all met through a team building exercise that the Steam Poker League did. It's called like a team league where you find two other people to be a team. So we actually created a Team Epic, because that's our name, chat room. And that's actually where we started the idea of community casino. Because we've all talked about it in previous slides before we met. But so we really just have used something that the Steam Poker League had, and we built on it. So we kind of just started the opening up to everybody else yesterday.
Well, thank you guys for coming out to talk about your project. Thanks for actually, we'll oftentimes get into this mode where it's easy to complain about everything. And I have to fight this too, which is why you'll see me sometimes, even if I'm being a dick to somebody who's attacked me or something, I'm still trying to build. You have to build, and the people who complain, we sometimes we get in that mode where we just want to complain, and it's so much better if we just say, you know what, we're going to create value, and not everything's going to work perfectly, not everything's going to work as planned, but if we go through an iterative process and don't give up, we can change a lot. So thank you guys and ladies, of course, I don't mean guys. Yeah, anyway, thank you to all of you who participate in these hangouts and help to teach people by exemplifying what we talk about in the value of doing. And I'll go ahead and
talked about this last week. It's something that we've been working for about 4 or 5 years, but we just kind of found Steemit recently 2 months ago, and it's really the perfect platform because it's based off curation, commenting, and creating content, and you get rewarded for it. So what we're doing is kind of similar like Steam developers. We're trying to change the education system by using Steemit, and we're gamifying. Our main purpose is gamification. We want to gamify the education system. Steemit's the main thing. We want to move offline as well. We have one partnership secured. I'll talk about it later in the updates. But basically, all the grades will be levels. Learners, the students are called learners. Teachers are called gaming leaders. And basically, the 3 different types of game is commenting, curating, and creating content. So there'll be a quick question posted by a gaming leader. It doesn't matter what kind of background. We're going to include all subjects, and that's actually one thing we kind of need more gaming leaders with different subject backgrounds to teach about. But they'll post a question, and for the creating the content, the people will create content. It could be a video content, it could be pictures, it could be words, or it could be a combination of all of them. And then the gaming leaders will, vote on it with the token tied to whale shares and Beyond Bit. And this is called points. The points will be like a voting scale, just like how you use. So an A would be 90%, would be 90% vote, and so forth. A B, 80%, 80% vote, and so forth. We kind of really don't want to use the A, B, and C, but it seems like it fits perfectly with the voting percentages. We're trying to get everybody off the stereotypes and the connotations with current education. That's why I kind of changed all the names from like students to learners and teachers to gaming leaders. The curating content would be a question we posted, and then people would find the best answer already created in the community. And this is kind of where that tagging comes in, where you talked about. That's one of the updates. We're working on a chain BB type website where you can just tag Steemit Gaming, and we'll have different threads to work on it. But as right now, it's just me and one other person, so we kind of need more help on that. That's another reason why I'm talking today. Let's see. So that they would tag with Steemit Gaming, and then the leaders would see the best responses and then vote on those responses. So not only are we rewarding the people that found it, but the people like the learners, but the people who actually created the content. So that would encourage, keep encouraging unique content. The commenting one would be very similar. We would find a post that someone already created, and someone the learners would comment their best response to it, and the best responses we voted on accordingly. So it kind of rewards not only people involved in the games, but also anybody on Steemit that's creating content. Kind of things, updates. The one update was the Chain BB. We're looking for a developer to help get that started so we can tag more efficiently. We're only starting with one or two games that we're trying to look for, so we're kind of starting slow, but we know we need to have that, so any help would be appreciated. Personally, right now, we're working with someone else that will help with the Beat Battle League and the Steam Poker League with the leaderboard and interactive side games for Steemit Gaming. So you can just go to the website and then see your updated rankings based off the points you've been paid. And then also there'll be cool little side games like who had learned the most that week or that day and such forth. Next thing is we're looking for gaming leaders, all fields. I wanted to start with business, but because that's my, personally my background, but it seems like there's not that much interest for it. So we're looking for different types of games. It doesn't matter what type of game, but we really want to help the Steemit community as much as possible. So any feedback would be great. That's the other thing. would be the point system. That's really what we're here to talk about. That was really needed to make sure this all happens, because without a voting scale or without a donation of whale shares and Beyond Bit, it's kind of hard to grade these without the Steam Power, since we're only here about 2 months. So we really need something that's tied, a currency tied, a gamified currency that can be used anywhere. It can be used off Steemit as a way to drive traffic to Steemit and also introduce people to cryptocurrency. But it's starting points with, like you heard, the community casino and Steemit gaming, and then we can grow from there. We really don't want to push too much traffic. My education background is finance and economics, also sales management. So you kind of learn about making sure maintaining financial flow. You don't want to overload it too early. So we kind of want to grow slowly with only 2 really communities using points and Steemit, and then go from there. So really you're the person to talk to about points. So that's why, our main reason we want to come here, but also try to get help to build these projects, because it's really about helping people. And so anything would be greatly appreciated. And like you said, let's see what else we got. The partnership we secured right now for an offline is actually it's a college in Cleveland. It's in the campus. It's called the Cleveland Campus College. So we plan on expanding, to different games in the future. But they said willing in January. They offer cannabis horticulture, medical applications of cannabis, and cannabis business classes. And they said any of our learners that want to learn off-site in like in Cleveland or in their programs in Oregon, like actually doing the product, they can learn as well. So we're trying to combine offline and online as much as possible. At least we got one, so we're starting from there, and hopefully we'll get some momentum from there. But let's see what else we got. For the rewards from all these posts and everything that comes for it, we're kind of modeling after what AcidVO did with OCD. Is like a third of it goes back to the gamers, a third of it goes back to the leaders, and then a third of it goes back to the community for community building activities. So that could be a lot of different things, and that leaves it open for a lot of community input. So it's going to be a third across. And another thing, it's kind of cool that they went first, kind of brought up an idea, what to do with all the old information. So a good idea I just had would be to just give the learners, after their game is over, a physical copy of all the information that's been created during that game. And that would be free of charge, obviously, and we'll just, mail it to them, or they can just pick it up at a place, and, it'd be a good way to reiterate everything they learned, but also have a physical copy for the future. And then how can you help right now? We do need a donation of whale shares and Beyond Bit for the first game to get it really going so we can grade it correctly. We need help with the gaming leaders for different interests to get some different games developed right now or in the future. And then also some help setting up a chain BB type website for Steemit Gaming. But with that, I'll just leave it with questions. I really don't want this more than I usually talk. I like to listen, but I'll try to get all the information in one set. So just let me know if you have any questions, and I'm here to help.
I don't need to say what I normally say, but does anybody else have questions currently? Comments? Hello, Robin Hutt. Steam Power Picks asks here, is there synergy that can be built between this and Steam developers' education project? That was one of my questions. Thank you. That is a great question, obviously, to me.
I really think so, because I think that they have, I know, a lot of tech people behind them. There's a couple things that we disagree on. I really don't think you should ever have to pay to learn. If you look, I know it's only 100 SPD, but if you look at the stats on how many people own 100 SPD and how many own above it, you're automatically disqualifying, a significant amount, more than 30% of people right off the bat. And even if you do get recouped, they don't have it. So we don't like that aspect. So, but everything else besides that, yeah, I think there's synergy for it, because we're really we want to help everybody. We don't want to be like the education system now, which discriminates and stereotypes based on where you come from, what you look like, how much income you have, where you live. So this is kind of like the reason why. So, yeah, I think there's a lot of synergy with Steam developers. And I actually was familiar with the project because Ron reached out earlier a couple weeks ago, and I helped them with some of the graphics and some of the business plan stuff, because that's my background. So yeah, we're definitely willing to help, and there's a lot of synergy. So yeah, it would be awesome. Teamwork makes the dream work.
Man, you don't know how good it feels to hear people say that. That was one of the biggest questions I had, because so often I see projects that are very much paralleling themselves, and they want to go basically the exact same route when they could actually, but they don't have very much funding, and limited resources. And those limited resources would be so much better if they could, find that middle ground and say, we'll just work together. So I always tend to ask that question first. But I'll tell you what, Steam Power Picks, this or
cut off.
Excuse me?
Lost you.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep, now.
Okay. That was probably the end of the NSA listening to all of us and our dirty plans. Okay, well.
Yes, that gets muted out of the recording.
Oh, IntelliGuy. Well, I did want to ask you, since we do have you here, and this is one of the questions that we asked at the end of the other segment, how do you see Whale Shares and Beyond Bits working with this? I do have an interest in the potential, but I'm also in a place, obviously, where I have limited supply.
We need it for the grading purposes, because we to give for the commenting and the curating and the creating the content, we need to grade it somehow. So the purpose is, like right now, this first game we could start next week if we had some whale shares, because we can grade with those whale shares or Beyond Bit with it right now. We don't have
how much is some?
Well, 100. A few. We could start small. It's not like we just need to show the community that what's the concept, and then go from there.
So you're just trying to show them the MVP and how it would work. And how much do you think that you're going to need for building the stuff that you need?
Minimum the first game, because I feel like with a lot of the resources we can also purchase some of the stuff, because I know that you're giving out a lot of this currency, but it would also be good for the currency if people are buying it. So maybe if that third of the community activities can be used to purchase with Steam dollars the currency, and then use that to purchase it. So probably 1,000 would be a good start, and then the posts and everything, the information and all the community help would be able to sustain it, that where we could actually just purchase the currency instead of relying on donations. And that way you can still keep giving away all the currency as well, but now you have people buying it, which kind of stabilizes the currency for long-term growth.
My real, I like the proposition, and I'm not against it. But one thing I will say is I don't look at it as a currency because of a couple things. And I just want to make this one distinguishing factor just because of, and we can talk a little bit about this in the after party. But there's definitely different rules between an upvote kind of token, like a DKP token, and a US dollar kind of currency. So I like to make that distinguishing factor. I kind of pay you in stock almost, it's stock, but it's really just an upvote. And there's not really even a law out there about upvotes yet. It's just that's the closest thing I've found. Right? So we want to be careful, but I'm very interested in it. And I'm very interested in charting these waters with you guys and potentially working something out. I would like to see more numbers though before I make any decisions, of course.
Yeah, and that's something that I can I'll get on it this week, and then I'll email you some information, and we can go from there. And I think our 1 to 3 hour conversation just got a little bit longer.
Oh, yeah, they will, but that's okay. We're here to build stuff, and it takes time, and it takes iteration of thought to build iteration of manifestation. So, I guess we'll go from there, and we have plenty of time during after party and stuff to really iron things out. And even then, community members tend to creep out from the woodworks and actually talk. So it sounds good. How do people reach out to you guys if they want to collaborate with you and work with you in any way, shape, or
form? You can reach out to me at Chief Mapster, and we have a Steam and Gaming set up, or you can use a link that Nick sent earlier, but I'll put a link right now. I'm usually on Discord, most of the day, 10 to 12 hours, so you can reach out to me on there, or email is chiefmapster@gmail, CHIEFMAPPSTER@gmail. I check that frequently, so those are the best ways.
Okay, and I'll just let you guys all know, if you guys have developers who want to work on things and they need funding to do so, that's one of my main projects. It's one of the things that I will really look at for your project. If you are building and you're bringing developers who can and will build and can show that they're building, we can fund them building. And we can fund them showing it off and potentially getting a bunch of upvotes by other whales that think that their stuff is amazing, right? This is how we grow our community. We build tools first that will amplify all of us and what we can do. And once we do that, we're empowering one another to just bring more value and more synergy. And it becomes a compounding effect that becomes ridiculous and sometimes gets me downvotes on Whaletank. But anyway, I do appreciate everybody who joins up to these hangouts and makes it clear that their voice will be heard and that their own projects can be the most powerful thing in the crypto ecosystem if they're allowed to. You really have to persevere in this space, and those who do are rewarded, not just with money, but self-respect. Voice shares, Rite of Passion is going to be talking a little bit about it. Are you here, Rite of Passion?
Yes, Fuzzy. Am I audible and am I clear today?
Perfect, man. Absolutely epic. I will just step back, bow out, and say thank you for joining up and give us whatever you have over this 15 minutes.
Okay, thank you, Fuzzy. This was like the first hangout I was looking out for. I was never able to make my point here due to some crappy internet connections. Hopefully, I'll be able to do it today. Anyways, I'm here to give you 2 updates about voice shares because I always believe in actions more than words. So I thought I'll come to Whaletank again, if at all I come, only with a proper working model. So now that the voice shares is 1 week old, I would like to give you guys what voice shares is, how is it working, whether it proved to be what it was meant to be. So to start off with, voice shares is something wherein we are trying to create a support system for all the suppressed souls. Suppressed souls may be anything wherein your stories won't go told because of few powerful factors that may bring you down for the fear of being judged in society. So we have started with a suicide awareness campaign, that is the campaign on depression. So when we started off, basically we had nothing. It was just a concept with which I came up with because I lost a friend to depression and I didn't want more. Then I wanted to extend it more to more issues like political, social, and create a platform in itself. And then again, for the amazing thing that Fuzzy is doing with the token system, I always believed in token system. So I thought, why not get a token and start rewarding people in its own way? So after all this, we launched voice shares through a central account last week, about 7 days back. And the response has been tremendous. We are just about 6-7 days old, and our Discord on an organic reach is around 60 members. And every post of ours will have an organic viewership of around more than 100, around 100 views on every post. And to go forward with it, we haven't we don't want to dilute the value of whale shares or a beyond bid. So we wanted to work on a model wherein we create value propositions for our tokens and bring it to the platform with its own value propositions. See, when we started off, we don't have the backing as the SP power or the delegated SP on our own. So we wanted to create a value proposition out of nothing, only based on the concept with which the project is driven. The project is driven on the, we always believed, we at Voice Shares, we have started developing our own team of developers, our own team of psychology experts, motivational speakers, and they're all there. And we wanted to come up with the value propositions based on synergy. And we wanted to do that with the other projects on the Whaletank or the cross-platform projects. And it's been 2 weeks. We have because people had raised the doubts on the same hangout, on the Whaletank hangout itself, whether people would want to be will be willing to share their stories. But people are. See, we have 7 stories lined up, and we just posted our first story, and the speaker is very happy with it because he was getting people to talk to him indirectly through our Steemit post, through our discords, wherein he'll be a silent spectator. So going forward, we'll be publishing stories from various issues, and that would be an update for the project for the first week. Having said that, we aim to aspire on a bigger things because we are getting our own websites done. And as I said, we believe in synergy, wherein we want to grow together with the other projects as well, because that divides your time frame for growth but increases the exposure, that multiplies the exposure is what I mean. So to give you two main value propositions that VoiceShares has come up with is, first one is the contributor space, that you as a person or a project can be a contributor to any story by paying us with our community tokens. You may buy voice shares or trade it with bit shares or whale shares, beyond bits, or anything which has its own value proposition. So we don't expect you to do anything, through Steam or SBD. You can do it with your community tokens, take out voice shares and pay us back for the contributor as a contributor for any of our posts. So the amount of voice shares that you pay will be given out to the storyteller or the story owner. This way we are aligning you directly with the project, wherein voice shares is directly aligned with the other community project, and your tokens will all automatically come into our system and our tokens will go into yours. So this way the distribution of tokens will be done in a much more significant way, wherein VoiceShares is a project which is for a very clean audience. I mean, not everyone will be connecting with something like VoiceShares, and this is something wherein people will specially come looking for such a thing. So this is one value proposition that we have brought up. And even as I was speaking in the hangout, even as I was speaking, I was listening to the other speakers, I could see the synergy. For example, community casino aims at giving back to the community, and we aim at creating the community by giving them a support system, by giving them a healthy life. So that way we see synergy. And PRT again believes in community building, and I reached out to Cryptopia, and he was happy about the project as well. So this way we wanted to see the synergy, build that synergy and grow together as projects from the same place. And that is one thing that I wanted to bring, and this is one of the important value propositions that we are putting on table today. Second would be, for every 1,000 Steam power that is leased to the project, we will be giving out 200 voice shares every month. So that way we wanted to lessen the dependency on beyond bits and whale shares, because see, it shouldn't be a one-way trade value. We need to come up with our own value propositions. May not be as good as what whale shares and beyond bits is for the immense work that Fuzzy is doing, but yes, we would like to start off with something small. So we wanted to give out our own SP backing to the token so that it adds credibility to the token building process, and the distribution is also done in much more significant manner that we want it to be. So for all those who have some SP, who would like to delegate some SP, we will be giving out 200 voice shares every month. That is 50 voice shares every week for every 1,000 SP delegated. So that way you will also be a major stakeholder in the project, and that aligns you directly with what the project believes. And second thing, and the most important thing, is we are coming out with our own website with a dedicated space for the contributors. That is, people who contribute to the project can showcase their work, or can convey their work to the outer society through our post and through our contributor space in the website, wherein we draw traffic from outside Steemit platform as well. People who want to get the exposure for their projects outside Steemit as well, or outside the blockchain as well. We want to design the SEO in such a way that people come and look at your projects, and that is one of the added values when you associate yourself with the voice shares. So these were the things that I wanted to bring forth to the Whaletank hangout, because I've been here for almost like 2 times and I couldn't make a point at all because of the internet connections. And today I wanted to bring this to the platform so that I see synergy with almost all the projects here, and I would love to work with you all. We would like to work with you all, build something together. And we always believe in token system. So token is something which is a significant part of your project. So just a second, I'll answer this. Exactly. See, that's what the tokens can get the value. That was my whole point. See, it can be traded. See, if we'll have to go to Fuzzy to help us with his whale shares or beyond bit backing for the purchase of the tokens or trading of tokens. At the same time, before doing that, we want to try to bring our own value propositions. We want to try to get the tokens its value by the virtue of its work, not just because it's a token. Because that way the one-way trade value increases and it may ultimately collapse. There are 1,000 tokens. I mean, there are 100,000 tokens and no one is there to buy. The trade value collapses and the token itself collapses. So we wanted to build the value propositions for the tokens by the virtue of its work and what we are doing. And that's the reason we have come up with the SP backing of a token. And also we wanted to do it with the contributor space. Contributor space is a non-commercial space that you get for promoting your work. And that is something that I don't see, at least for now, I don't see on the Steemit platform. This is something new wherein your project also gets exposure to through voice shares, and voice shares get backing of your project. So this way we are creating a three-way win-win situation for the contributor, for voice shares, and for the storyteller. So that was pretty much it that I wanted to bring forth. And anyone who is willing to write anything about voice shares, and we already had all types of contests from the top art contest organizing people on Steemit, art trail and literature quest trail. They have organized contest for voice shares all by themselves without any expectations. So any of you would like to write about voice shares, we'll be more than happy to send out some tokens your way. And that is pretty much it from my end. I'll be open to all the questions that you have about voice shares.
How do you feel like your response thus far from the community has been?
Fuzzy, to be very honest, the response was 200% more than what we expected. I thought I'll end up with around 10 working guys who would be interested in project, who would be interested in doing something like that. But if you go to our post and read each of the comments, each one connects with the project on a very different scale. Because this is something that touches human lives on a very different scale, because each one of us will have an untold story. And this is something that everyone has connected to instantly. And you trust me, whether or not you trust me, it's like people want to contribute for voice shares without any expectations at all. See, voice shares, let me be very frank, voice shares doesn't have any value as of now on BitShares. We are trying to create the value propositions. We are new. But still, people never asked what is that I get when I contribute to you. I said I'll give out 50 voice shares. They said yes. They didn't ask what is this value, what is its valued at. So that is the kind of response that overwhelms what we are trying to do. And we because one of the questions in the earlier hangouts was whether people will be willing to tell you the stories. We have 7 stories lined up for the week, and we are publishing 3 stories every day. So that is the kind of response that we want to do. And since they are just willing to accept voice shares for it, and they know one or the other day token value increases because of the work that we are doing. People who wouldn't want to be associated with something wherein you are contributing to the society and build the community. So that's the reason we have come up with something wherein we'll lessen the dependency on whale shares and beyond bits and try to come up with our own voice shares value propositions with that I'm putting forth. Actually, what I'm trying to do is I'm pitching my idea here for all the investors in the form of their tokens. We accept your tokens and we distribute it in our network, wherein we trade you with our tokens for you to distribute in your network. That way we see the synergy. So that is the thing that we want to bring forth. And to be very honest, we are planning to develop as our own chain in the near future. And I am sure Fuzzy will be there to help us, and Virtual Growth I've been speaking to. There are some amazing people who would be willing to help us, and I would be gladly welcoming anyone and everyone who wants to be a part of project, because this project has been an organic growth. We have not paid anyone to be a part of it or anything. They want to be a part of it just for the sake of the values it believes in.
I'll say this, if you guys ever become a chain of your own, whatever technology that you're using, if you share drop on the creators of that technology with at least 10%, I will give you a very large chunk of Beyond Bits, probably like 10K of them. but I want to see a live chain before I ever do that in a share drop. You guys have it right here though. So if it's based on Steam, share drop on all Steam power holders, I would personally suggest a small cut to like a very large majority of it that's in one account. But other than that, I will support all of it. And I would definitely say that share drop healthily on all of them. Just kind of more fairly distribute it and across everybody in the Steam ecosystem, and give people a reason to power up. Or if it's based off of bit shares, the same applies there. Cut out the exchanges that hold a lot of cold storage. And yes, I will definitely support that. That's something that I'm very interested in, but I want to see active building of this type of stuff. But I will support that.
And yeah, and we already have front-end teams, front-end developers who are already working on it. We are looking for back-end developers who would like to build on what on further expansion of the project. But yes, we see that this has a potential and the ever increasing scalability for the various issues that the world is facing, wherein we can bring some values into it. So that way I feel and I believe in the project for the future scaling of the project. And this is an ever scalable project if you can just look into it on an outer scale. And the issues that the world faces will not have a end very soon. So that way I think we have the project idea is pretty much set, and we just have to work out on the blockchain aspects of it, and which we are already looking into it.
Well, I look forward to hearing a little bit more about this stuff. What's very interesting to me, and I'll just leave it with this, is that you say it was a very salient point. You were giving out tokens, and you said that people didn't even know what the value proposition was, and they still wanted to work for them because it was an interesting proposition to them. I think that's a lesson for everybody to probably leave today with. Personally, if I'm going to tell somebody who's new to this to think about something, that would be one of the big ones. And I would say, real quick, you're at a point where you do have a token. You didn't list it on here as with a link this week, but you're at a point where you're at 15 minutes. So if you want to, you're more than welcome to power up to get past this gravity that's being put into play right now a little bit for an extra 5 minutes by share dropping some voice shares on people who will sign a guest list today, if you're interested in that. If not, you're more than welcome to close it off by telling people how they can contact you outside of these hangouts.
Yes, I would like to share drop a few tokens of voice shares for the guest list today. And what is the time that I get, Fuzzy? Can I get another 5 minutes, if you don't mind?
If you, what's the total supply of whale shares, of voice shares?
Total supply as in the total number of voice shares issued, is it?
Yes, the total supply is the total supply that could be issued someday.
It's 150,000 right now.
Okay, I would say share drop 100 of them for 5 minutes. Does that sound fair?
Yes, perfect.
Okay.
Okay, guys. Basically, this is the project pitching process wherein I am giving you out the input from the project for which you can invest your tokens in. See, we accept any kind of tokens that has a proper value propositions backing it. And in return, we have already proposed wherein the scalability factor of voice shares comes into picture. And also, we will be giving out 200 voice shares every month for every 1,000 SP delegated. We look to raise around 20 to 30,000 SP in the initial phase for the token backing. And anyone who would be willing to delegate, we would be more than happy to accept this. And this delegation takes us a long way for the future business types that we may have for all the, if we come up with a new chain in the near future. And the second thing is for all the projects that we discussed today, be it community casino or Purity or Steam developers, the educators, and we see synergy with all you guys. And what we believe is we believe in the growing together by contributing to each other's project. So I would strongly urge all of you, and Fuzzy, obviously you, and I strongly urge all of you to invest in voice shares with your tokens. We don't expect any kind of Steam or SPTs, but with your tokens. Uh, we 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 expect you, we invite you to be a part of voice shares community, and we would like to distribute your tokens within our community and use it as a backup for the voice shares. And in turn we will be giving you out voice shares which you can use it for as a contributor to any one of the posts, wherein the post space of 10% to 30% of it will be dedicated to your project. So that is one thing. So we will be dedicating a definite space to your project wherein you can showcase your work, your progress of your project through that space. And this is one of the ways wherein my viewer or our organic viewership will be getting the hint of what you are trying to do, and something that makes you get more exposures as such. So that is something that we want to do together, and I definitely see the synergy with community casino, and that's the way forward. Please, for those who are all interested, please reach out. And if you have anything to ask me now, I think I still have 2 or 3 minutes. Please ask me. Thank you, Chief.
Well, I'll say this. Well, first off, does anybody else have any questions or comments? I would suspect somebody here has a question or comment regarding all this. Anybody else have any?
I have a question.
Questions or comments?
Am I coming through?
Off and on.
Hello?
Off and on.
If you want to tell a guy, you can type it. I'll definitely ask it. Or I'll try
what's the best way to get a hold of you, by the way?
I'll be around on Discord always. That is 24/7. You can message me whenever you want across the time zones. I'll respond to you within 1 or 2 minutes.
Understood. Thank you.
Yes, that is right. For every 1,000 SP delegated, we'll be giving out 50 voice shares, not whale shares, voice shares. That's the community coupon. Yes, we do have our own Discord channel. As I said, it was an organic growth of around 60 members within 1 week without an invite. People comment and then we tell them that there's something like this, you can join us, and people have done it. I'll just share the link with you.
I'm not sure that I'm understanding what your share is. It's not whale shares, but your pronunciation of it. Could you spell it out in the chat for me, please?
Yeah, it's voice shares.
Got it.
Yeah, and it sounds like you're saying
it's voice share, not voice shares.
Yes. And it sounds like you guys have some people who are even interested in developing stuff, but you need back-end developers if you're going to work on it on this project fully. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, Fuzzy, and we have already front-end developers who are graphic designers or website builders, but we want someone at the back end to be helping us and supporting us. And I was trying to reach out to Bren from Purity, and I'll speak to him. He may be a guy who can help me out with this. So we have been discussing about various aspects as to how to do this through getting resources from Steemit or across platforms.
Well, this is what I love to see is that you're persistent and you keep moving forward and finding new value propositions. And you guys recognize that these resources I have are very strong to a very real degree, but they're limited.
Very.
So it's one of those things where if we can all leverage them correctly and bring value to them to continue building, we can build epic things. And I look forward to seeing more about this, very much so. And I look forward to hearing more updates about your Discord, about the actual voice shares markets, I will definitely, if you remind me this week, I'll put up some buy orders with Beyond Bits. Just because you keep coming back, man, you don't give up. I really like that. And I'm fine with staying here for 8 to 10 hours if we have that many hangouts or that many sessions. Because at that point in time, we're all going to be able to afford to build stuff. So,
Fuzzy, one thing I would like to say, I'm just a month old on Streamit and blockchain. And I've been to many people with few ideas, and they always wanted me to buy their Steam Power. And how can I even do that? I'm just like, what, month old? And they expect 20% returns on their Steam Power. But you are the only one who told me a way wherein I can do something like this without me actually investing my money, which I already don't have. So that is something that I want to be thankful for. And I'll be coming here till the time I win this hangout. That is for sure. And I'm sure I'll be winning it someday soon.
well, we do this because we want to show people, right, how you guys can use these different tools. And we build value by creating tools that empower other people. It's fine to be individualistic, but you also have to realize that we rely on each other. That's as a species, my God. And that our brains, we can create beautiful synergies when I don't want to say forced to, but incentivized to. So this entire thing is an experiment in the incentivization, and all of you guys are teaching me along the ways too, because it's kind of cool to see how you guys, all of you, navigate this and come up with your own solutions. So it's been a blessing to be able to be part of this, and we'll continue it. I don't see anything stopping us. So, well, there might be a few, but let's hope that I live at least another 20 more years. That would be wonderful. Now, all of that joking aside, there's going to be one more project, the Marky Mark, and I see him sitting in here, and I am ready to step back and let you step up and talk about what you want to do, and maybe take some community questions and answers about it afterwards, if you're up for doing that right now.
Hey, thanks for having me. I built Build-A-Ware as another voting bot. It's like all the others, kind of, but it doesn't have the alternative motives as some of them, like Booster, who's using his power behind the scenes to downvote people and to use it for other things and putting their own bids, and some of the other ones that are using it that way as well and not giving everyone a fair share. So I put that up, and I started it a little while ago, and it's been getting some people using it, and it's right now it has a bid pool of $3.40. Let me just type that out here. And I'm looking at ways of how I can increase that, because right now I'm leasing Steam Power, and it's not really economical that way. So I was trying to find ways of how I can increase the volume I can vote on, so I have a bigger pool so people can vote larger and get more people in the bid cycles. But also I was wondering if there's any way we can integrate like a whale share token somehow into the process where there's bonuses or some integration.
I've always been cool with the idea of like one of these bots occasionally distributing a token to you to get you onto the BitShares network via our whale shares account. I often thought that would be really cool. I've also thought one of the other things that a lot of people really, I think that they don't use this avenue enough or try to work toward it, is a witness. A witness for one of these accounts that would be powered up, and maybe you could even use this account, to start new vote tokens for, I've thought about using these, specifically a bot like this, to power up a whale token. For instance, if I put, 300,000 into it, over the course of a year, if people are paying for upvotes and stuff, well, then guess what? They're gambling, but they're putting Steam power into a token that later on, all that Steam power will be taken away except for what it earned. And then you move on to another community token. I've thought about things like that. I'm very interested in them, but at the same time, like you said, like leasing it isn't really economical whenever you're trying to start out, like, because you still aren't going to quite make as much as, unless you're really skewing the, the results to take a big rake, which, that's kind of hard, right? Maybe something that would be cool would be to leverage the fact that this bot is going to be distributing these, upvotes places. So maybe use advertising and say, this one will be an advertise. This one is sponsored by this advertiser, and let them pay Steam back dollars, and you power it up each month, and maybe that's another model. I'm just throwing ideas at you here. I mean, I've got shoot, man, we can do this all day, but I don't know if all of them are the right ideas. We would have to always all discuss this type of stuff,
So how would you do the advertising? Like, what would you, how would you determine what would be an ad and whatnot?
Well, I guess the question would be how many people use it right now. Do you get a lot of people who want to use it?
Right now, I get, I would say about 5 to 15 people a bidding cycle are using it.
So a bidding cycle being 7 days?
2.4 hours.
2.4 hours?
Yes. So you bid on a window for 2.4 hours. That way it's using 2% voting power, which is 100% vote. Then it recharges, and then there's another bidding cycle.
It's nice. It's kind of like the AGS mechanism. Like there's a market for each upvote during every window.
Yeah, that way it does 10 upvotes at 100% power per day, and it recharges between the votes. And then it's handing out the votes during that recharge. So everyone gets a portion of that coefficient of that 100% upvote based on what they paid into it.
And somebody's saying that's similar to Booster?
It's exactly like Booster. Booster is the same thing. Unfortunately, Booster, the guy that runs it, is kind of nefarious and uses his voting power to downvote people that using the voting power that people are bidding on to silently downvote and vote on other things and do other malicious things. He has a really nice pool. Like my pool is $3.40 because I'm just doing out of pocket, and his is over 100 now. He has some whales donating Steam power to him, and so he has the power to do something like that. But like before, I was looking at it and watching his transfers, and people bid $200 over the for the $100, and then he used like $400 of upvotes or downvotes and upvotes silently. So the window was huge for what people were getting for what they paid for. So it's not legitimate. You'll come out behind every time.
So and you have proof of all the behavior and stuff too.
You can look, everything is on the blockchain. You can look at it and stuff like that. But there were windows that I was looking at, and it was showing like a negative 400-minute payout and all that stuff.
Yeah, I suspect there's a lot of different stuff, and yeah, like Steam Power Pick says, this stuff becomes politically motivated. I can't tell people how to use their Steam Power, but I will say how I use it, and I'll say that, there are definitely things that I think are more valuable to the chain than downvoting. At least downvoting things that aren't, blatant abuse, child pornography and, snuff films and, stuff like that probably are probably the line for me. That's a pretty far line, or somebody who's trying to really screw over what I'm doing. But with this bot,
There's
I would
no
have to
ability
say,
to downvote right now, and I do not want to have that ability. It's
yeah,
a purely positive type of bot.
yeah, and I would say never to say it's purely never going to downvote. I would definitely come up with a couple rules. Just because you never know, man. Being trying to be really good can also open you up to a lot of attacks that other people who don't necessarily have your scruples or would be willing to perform on you. I hate to say this way. I feel almost uncomfortable saying, but I have to because it's true. But with this, at the same respect, what I would say is this: the best thing you can do, in my mind, is keep building it and trying to innovate with it. And I would say maybe, posting like whenever somebody upvotes with it, it chooses from a random list of ads that people can pre-compile for you and say this upvote was brought to you from what's it called again? Build a whale. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, Build a
the
Whale.
actual whale. Okay.
Yep.
I didn't know if this is like a project or the whale itself. Okay, so yeah, exactly like Steam Power Sex Pix is saying, you're sponsoring, and have like a link and maybe like a little image, and have the Build a Whale project have a logo, even maybe you could even have a logo where it's like being built and inside is the sponsor's logo. There's all kinds of stuff you could do. But make it so every time that you're posting and you're upvoting, you're actually using that distribution as a mechanism where you can say, okay, I think the community will accept that I upvoted this with this bot. And now we're going to give you a small ad, from the sponsors. And if you take the sponsors' funding and power it up, now you could even create a token that it distributes occasionally, and people could hold on to that token knowing that you're going to keep powering it up. So you could even take, when people buy tokens, you power that up so they know that their token's getting more. Yeah, it just keeps going. But there's a lot of things. Huh?
So you're saying people would sponsor it, like a different mechanism to pay into it, and the notes would show up in the this was upvoted messages?
Yeah, maybe even come up with a token that you can pay, that you can buy early on for a really good price, and then you use those to power it up. And then, because here's the thing, as something gets upvoted more, it's going to get more and more visibility, which means my ad's going to get more visibility, right?
Yep.
So maybe that's a route. We can talk about it in depth at some point in time. I'm going to start having daily hangouts pretty much, now that I've got somebody who can babysit my boy during the day. And there's a lot of stuff we have to get done.
Yeah, I have a lot of bots I'm working. I have a couple unique ones that I want to put out there as well, but this is the one I started with that I wanted to get up and running. And I've been donating a lot of upvotes to people, going around and finding, especially in the wheelchair community and other places, to give them a little bit of love while the bot's not being hammered. And then when the bid cycles are busy, I don't put any in there.
Well, I'll say this. People who can build bots with the skills that you've got, I'm sure there are a lot of things we can do. So yeah, we can talk about a lot of this stuff, but before I do anything else, I have talked about this stuff the entire time. Is there anybody who would like to bring up a point or ask a question? All of you are kind of, crypto nerds of your own regard. So I don't always have all the answers. A lot of people might have better ideas.
Is there any way you can use this on different platforms, like social media platforms, to somehow drive traffic to Steam it? Kind of like as an advertising or branding play?
I'm not sure. You mean like have a Twitter account and then when they post here, it shows it somewhere else as well?
Well, I guess kind of maybe gamifying it somehow to where it would attract people. Because I know on Facebook, there's the Facebook games or something like that. Somehow gamify it to where it gets their interest, and then it brings them over to Steam it, where you ultimately will have your purpose.
That's something we could think about, but you do have to have a following before the other platforms would actually take off, and it's to grow that organically would take time.
Yeah, it's a very valid point. Might have to wait for a little bit, but I know once you get a team going, you could definitely apply that, because it's good to have good branding on different sites, because once you grow really big, then you're ready for it.
Yeah, I agree on that.
Well, the interesting thing is there are ways that we could leverage tokenification and say, whenever I upvote, maybe there's a way of working with the Facebook API, for instance, where every time I upvote something or I give it a thumbs up, that whale comes out and it says, you could join Steemit and post this too, and maybe make some money. And this is brought to you by, you could have different things like that. And when people use the service, they earn tokens that allow them to actually advertise. So it gives them an incentive to continue advertising, because they're, you guys see what I'm talking about, right?
That's a great idea. You got my mind. How'd you do that?
I hope that's what yeah. But
it literally was what I was thinking, but you said it way better.
I don't know about that, man. Everybody who's here probably knows that this is I'm not exactly the most concise at times. But with that said, you're asking for ideas, and I think that these are some starting points that we can discuss during the after party too, and maybe even, revisit all this stuff in the future, because as you can hear, my phone is going off with the 15-minute timer. So if you guys if you'd like to, I don't think that you have a token today, right?
No, I do not.
Okay, so if you would like to, if you can tell everybody how to contact you if they're interested in working with you on this stuff, and I'll leave it that for right now.
I can be contacted through the Marky Mark on Steemit, Build a Whale, and then Mikey on Whale Shares, which under Discord I'm always on there, and looking at ways of gaining Steam Power delegation or something like that to allow us to have a larger pool so we can make more of an impact.
Well, I'll say this: I appreciate all the projects that joined up today. You guys really are showing everyone else that building is valuable, and the people who come on here, they're standing up in front of a bunch of people and talking about something that is a risky idea in general, even if it's a good idea. All these ideas have barriers to entry and various pitfalls, and when you try to bring an idea to life, it takes risk. So I have to bow to all of you and say thank you for taking that risk, and thank you for also coming here and helping us to archive and learn from these processes along the way, because we do not know everything, but together we sure can figure out a lot. Right? So this is the Whaletank. I have limited amounts of steam power, and look what I can do. Imagine what we could do if other whales joined the fray. I'll leave it with that for this week. And I'll say, I'll leave it with one more thing. And if the people who say they love it, instead of downvoting us, would give some of those tokens to a community token, or upvote a witness that is made for a community to make Whale Shares a community token, we can start really supporting all this stuff in a community-based fashion. Maybe even have elections on who distributes Whale Shares every year. But I'll talk to you guys about this at another hangout, and maybe at the after party.